So I finally got my hands on these earbuds. Guys, if you recall, back then we did this big comparison between the different Jabra earbuds, and the Elite 7 Active wasn't in the mix. Now we're gonna see if these are actually the best Jabra earbuds, and whether you should just go for these earbuds instead of the more expensive Jabra Elite 7 Pro or the cheaper Elite 3. If you're new here to this channel and you want to see more comparisons like this one, hit subscribe and tap the bell button to stay notified of new content from me. Now, these are mostly identical to the 7 Pros, except that the focus here is all about sports. So, fit and stability is the key here. They are a little wider, so this may help fit the earbuds a bit snugger in your ears, and they've got what Jabra calls shake grip, which has the surface of the earbuds wrapped in a liquid silicone rubber compound that Jabra says improves stability without needing stability fins. Very skeptical about that, we'll have to see. And they've got what's known as SATI acoustics mesh covering the microphone ports for better wind rejection. So if you're jogging and taking calls at the same time, that's gonna help block some of that flapping noise from the wind. The 7 Pros have a heavier focus on phone call quality. So they've got more advanced technology for voice pickup, like a bone conduction sensor and a special algorithm. This seems to be why they are a little more expensive, otherwise both models seem pretty identical, to be honest. For example, they both have up to 8 hours of battery in the earbuds with up to 30 hours with the case, IP57 dust and water resistance, control buttons for music playback and volume, USB Type-C, and wireless charging, single earbud used for phone calls, so on and so forth. And in terms of app support, the Jabra Sound Plus app allows you to customize these earbuds pretty much in identical ways. Their sound quality can be customized using EQ presets, a graphic EQ, or Jabra's My Sound calibration, which basically captures a profile of your hearing sensitivity and boosts the frequencies that you're less able to hear. As a result, you're going to hear a lot more detail from these earbuds than without My Sound calibration. On the other hand, the Elite 3 is the budget model, so you're not going to get features such as active noise cancelling, the graphic EQ, or My Sound calibration. It's also not possible to choose how much transparency you want in hear-through mode, or even to customize the buttons, but these do have something the other models don't, which is aptX codec support. This means that the Elite 3s are going to sound as good on Android devices as iOS, because Android phones often take shortcuts when decoding AAC, and if your earbuds only supports AAC like the 7 Actives, that's going to have an impact on sound quality compared to iOS, especially if you're running on Android. So how does the 7 Active sound like compared to the rest? Well, compared to the 7 Pros, the 7 Active sounds a bit heavier in the mids. So vocals have more gravity and timbre in it, and a bit more presence. The 7 Active's bass also sounds a bit more punchy and more thumpy. So you're getting a bit more impact and thump in your bass if you listen to bass heavy music. However, though the 7 Pros sound a bit thinner in the mids, its track separation is also cleaner, and that brings out a bit more detail in the mid-range. In terms of sound staging, they both sound just about as spacious and open, so I guess it really depends on what type of sound you prefer. Do you like it a little cleaner, or do you like it a little more heavy? The Elite 3s, despite it being the cheapest among them, seems to combine elements from both. Its mid-range and track separation sounds just about as clean as the 7 Pros, but it also has bass that sounds a little more thumpy than the 7 Actives. However, since the Elite 3s don't have My Sound calibration or a graphic EQ, you're not going to be able to customize its sound as much as you can do with the more premium Jabras. In terms of volume, the 7 Active is a little louder than the 7 Pros, and just about as loud as the Elite 3s, which is good to know if you are somebody who needs more volume. Right now, we're going to test the 7 Active's microphone pickup in a quiet and noisy environment compared to the rest of the Jabra earbuds. So we're talking about the Elite 7 Pros and the Elite 3. As usual, I'm going to play some really loud cafe-style background noise to simulate that noisy environment. I'm now making a phone call in a quiet place using the Jabra Elite 7 Active. Background noise. I'm now making a phone call in a noisy place using the Jabra Elite 7 Active. I am now making a phone call in a quiet place using the Jabra Elite 7 Pro. Background noise. I am now making a phone call in a noisy place using the Jabra Elite 7 Pro. I am now making a phone call in a quiet place using the Jabra Elite 3. Background noise. I am now making a phone call in a noisy place using the Jabra Elite 3. So whether you're making calls in quiet or noisy places, there seems to be no difference at all in terms of call quality between the 7 Active and the 7 Pro, but strangely enough, the Elite 3 seems to have cleaner microphone pickup, and though it wasn't as quiet in the background as the more premium models, it sounded smoother and less choppy. Interesting. Now we're going to compare the noise cancelling performance of the Elite 7 Active and the 7 Pros. The Elite 3s don't have ANC, so it's going to sit this one out. In order to test their noise cancelling, I'm going to play the same background noise as before. So it appears that they both are quite comparable in terms of active noise cancelling of both the low and mid-range frequencies. There were some variations as to which mid-range frequencies were blocked, but overall they achieved similar levels of noise cancellation. Now we're going to compare how much Bluetooth audio lag the 7 Actives have when playing games and watching videos on both Apple and Android devices. The Elite 3s have lower latency than the 7 Pros, so I'm going to benchmark the 7 Actives against the Elite 3s. The Apple device that I'm going to use is the iPhone SE 2020. For Android, I'm going to use the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. First, the gaming audio lag test. As a reference point, let's see what the internal latency looks like on the iPhone SE. This is audio straight from the iPhone speaker. Now the 7 Active, then the Elite 3. And then we repeat the same test on the S21 Ultra. So it appears that on iOS, the 7 actives have a little more lag than the Elite 3s, but on Android, the difference is a lot bigger. We're talking about a 270 milliseconds difference. So, like the 7 Pros, I wouldn't recommend the 7 actives for anything gaming related. However, if all you do on your phone is watch videos on YouTube or Netflix, you're not likely to get much or any lag at all because these apps have their own latency correction that automatically delays the video so that it syncs up better with the audio, like so. Hey guys, so we've got some new firmware updates for the AirPods Pro and AirPods 3. For the Pros, we have firmware number 4A402, replacing 4A400, and the 3's update is dubbed. Hey guys, so we've got some new firmware updates for the AirPods Pro and AirPods 3. For the Pros, we have firmware number 4A402, replacing 4A400, and the 3's update is dubbed 4B66, replacing 4B61. As usual, Apple didn't state. So, to conclude, the biggest reason why I'd get the 7 actives over the others is that it's built to offer better fit and stability. That liquid silicone rubber texture does add a bit more friction, and it's also got a slightly snugger fit than the rest. However, is it gonna be as stable as, say, earbuds with stability fins? Not really, no, because even without my ears being sweaty and wet, when I wear these earbuds and when I shake my head, I can already feel these earbuds shift around in my ears. So if Jabra was a little more serious about making these sports friendly, I will suggest adding stability fins to them and then making changes to the case to accommodate stability fins. One other reason to choose these over the 7 Pros is perhaps its punchier bass and louder volume. So based on that and its lower price point, I can totally see the 7 actives becoming more popular than the 7 Pros in the long run. Otherwise, it's not going to make much of a difference. You're still going to get that decent battery life, great water resistance, Sound Plus app support, everything in a small compact case. What I hope could be better is its call quality. It's just not as clean as similar models out there. Also, it doesn't have multi-point pairing, which is something that Jabra has said they will include in a future software update. But let's assume that it doesn't happen. It's not a really big deal because most earbuds right now don't have multi-point pairing anyway. Whatever the case, if you were looking at the 7 Pros, you should definitely check out the 7 actives because these are almost identical to the 7 Pros, but they cost a little less. By the way guys, I will be comparing the Elite 7 actives to other earbuds, so if you don't want to miss out on more videos from this channel, hit subscribe right now and tap the bell button to stay notified of new content from me. Thanks for watching, appreciate your time. If you like this video, please like and share. Also, a big shout out to these legends who support this channel by contributing $1 or more per month through the crowdfunding website Patreon. If you want to be a legend too, it's very simple. All you gotta do is to support my work on Patreon. That is a great way to help keep this show going, and you gain some pretty cool rewards too, like being credited at the end of every video. So link is in the box down below if you want to help support. I've also got a Discord server. Do join if you want to hang out. More videos coming up soon, so don't go away.